Who's doing?
Right over here.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of City Council. The Citizens Sustainability Advisory Committee, or CSAC, is here to present its 2025 annual report and proposed goals for 2026. Just as a note, no changes were made to the current mission statement. The committee had a busy and exciting 2025, carrying over many of its programs into 2026. Just a note of correction on the goals list. We are removing the goal, draft a letter of recommendation from CSAC to the City Council in support of Assembly Bill 1243, as we learned that the bill is currently not moving forward. So it will be removed from the goals list. We'd like to thank our City Council liaison, Phoebe Venkat, and the members of the public who regularly attend committee meetings. I'd also like to recognize the CSAC members here tonight who support the committee. And now I'd like to introduce Committee Chair Shilpi Goel and Co-Chair Nyssa Mitra, who will present CSAC's accomplishment and goals.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and the member of City Councils. I'm Shilpi Goel, Chair of Foster City Citizen Sustainability Advisory Committee. Tonight, we are proudly share both what CSAC has accomplished in 2025 and where we are headed in 2026.
Good evening. My name is Nyssa Mitra, and it's crazy to think that 2 years ago I was standing right here, hoping to be appointed to be in this committee. And it's going to be impossible to capture every discussion and idea that we have in our committee meetings, but we hope tonight gives us justice to what our team has done and the direction we're excited to move in next. So, over the course of this year, our work revolves around 2 core goals. One is in which to support the city staff in promoting and implementing Foster City's updated climate action plan. And second, to seek out and promote sustainability best practices in our residents in the community. And, those 2 goals really shaped what we did throughout the course of the year. So, in 2025, our main goal, wasn't just on policy adoption particularly, but more so on behavior change, like how these sustainability best practices really ends up in residents' daily decisions and choices. So one major area of learning for our committee was community-based social marketing. So it's a really interesting concept, and it basically looks at the psychology, behind, why people choose to act sustainably or, why they hesitate, which I think is really important to learn, especially as a committee whose goal is to make sure that Foster City is as sustainable as possible. So a key accomplishment under this approach of learning this is we made or developed a pilot solar permit outreach campaign. And what that looked like is that we used targeted emails and specific posters and flyers. And this effort supported multiple of the year 1 initiatives in the updated climate action plan. And that includes appliance rebate programs through Peninsula Clean Energy and PG&E, and increased awareness of building this sort of electrification and voluntary adoption for using all-electric technologies, like an induction cooktop or a heat water pump. And, beyond this outreach, the members of our committee engage directly with residents at various city events. And in doing so, at these events, with what we learned from the community-based social marketing, we wanted to really, meet people where they were. We wanted to learn, how to get through those barriers. We studied those throughout the course of the year, and we kind of, we tried to make a tangible impact. Shilpi, do you want to take that?
Yeah. At the Earth Day, hosted by the Foster City Library, and few of you guys were there. If you guys remember, we had 14 different vendors and dozens of kids who participated in trash art contest, which was very popular, and some of them had judges in the past. At the 4th July pancake breakfast, which the CSAC worked with the event organization to reduce single-use and bulk item where possible. If you guys remember, if some of you guys have attended, that we had made completely composed, that it was a landfill, almost zero landfill event. And this year, like last year, I bought 30 red, blue, and white table covers, so which gonna get used again this year. So we took out the completely plastic from there. Summer days, if you guys remember, we did both days, 2 days booth campaign, connecting hundreds of residents through the hand-on experience, trash sorting game, and eco-friendly prizes.
So our committee is divided into subcommittees. There's the community engagement subcommittee, the events subcommittee, and the business. And this year we added 2 new resident members and 1 existing resident member. And looking into 2026 for our goals, I think as a committee we're really focused on deepening and expanding our work, particularly making a sort of impact regarding the climate action plan, which was obviously our goal from the very beginning. We plan to continue hosting and participating in community events like Earth Day and Clean Air Day, and while also strengthening partnerships with local organizations like PG&E or Peninsula Clean Energy, and really making a difference with them, right? Businesses and city committees, specifically the Youth Advisory Committee, we really plan on working with them a lot because, the kids are really the future generation, right? And Parks and Recreation Committee. And we'll also focus on programs that support community energy projects, urban agriculture, that's one of the things we plan on investigating next year, and policies that encourage sustainable practices. And, overall, 2025 or 2026, our goal stays the same. We're just trying to help our community be as sustainable as possible and operate within planetary boundaries while prioritizing well-being and equity and participation. And, before we wrap up, I just want to really highlight our amazing team. I mean, none of this happens without them. I was impacted by every single one of these committee members. It's insane. I think, everything we've done and everything we've accomplished, it comes from the heart of this team. And I think what makes our committee so special is that we always wear our sustainability hats, even outside the city chambers room. And, from becoming a green business to giving a speech and installing solar panels and switching to EV, we walk the walk. And I think that's really important. And our job here, is nothing more than to encourage others to do what we do. Because we all know that at the end of the day, everything we've accomplished and everything we will accomplish, it's only possible because of this amazing team. And a huge thank you to Ms. Venkat for always supporting us, truly the backbone of our team and our city liaisons. We're really excited to what we'll see in 2026. And thank you so much for all your guys' support. Thank you so much.
And I just want to add one more thing. 2026, I talked this a long time back to, I definitely want to see no water bottle in this chamber, which I always do see. And this needs to change in 2026. Thank you.
We're open to any questions.
Questions?
Question.
Patrick.
Yeah, I really thank you, because your enthusiasm is always overwhelming, and I look at all your accomplishments and I wonder why. Did we do that much on the council? You guys sometimes surpass us. One of my passions I'd sure like to see is somehow that we can get solar lights on the levee. And I would think that would be a donation from, maybe Gilead's or Visa or something, but that would be a really good message for people. One of the things that we're seeing right now is with PG&E is not buying a lot of electricity back, so solar is somehow going awry a little bit, and people are buying backup battery generators, which is positive too. So.
Yeah, noted, absolutely. That's a great idea. We'll keep it on the plate. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Like I said, I look at every individual contribution. Thank you.
Do you have a question? Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple. I notice you've got a lot of individuals named here and what they accomplished. Was that done through the committee? Because you had some that are members of the committee and those that are no longer in the committee.
Yes.
Some are not longer in the committee.
So could you explain the process that you go through?
Yeah, so...
Why you were singling out one individual who did these things?
Yeah, for sure. Vanessa, our city liaison, could take that. She makes the plans for how the mission statement would look like.
So we try to capture everyone who was actually on the committee last year, and we had a number of former members who actually are still involved in our committee on the sidelines, but we wanted to make sure that we captured all of those accomplishments as well, even if they're no longer with CSAC.
answer also, like as a person, I come from a business committee, small business committee, and I was the one who worked hard to get e-business program, and I'm the only person in the Foster City. So it was completely my achievement. As a Nilu and Nilufer Motiwala and the Mara, they are the one who completely planned the Earth Day and the Clean Air Day. So they were the backbone of doing that, even with the solar project. So there were so many things that individually has led the project, and we helped as a committee.
Okay, it just seems to me, like that individual is the only one that worked on that project. That's how I'm reading this. Is that the case?
So a few projects was completely led by the individuals.
Led?
Which
Yes.
project?
Like for me, the completely being a green business was completely my project. It was
Yes.
completely by me. It all getting the information from everywhere from the county was completely by me. So it's by you can say as a community member, but led by completely by me, and I'm the only one who is at this point presenting that.
Okay, I mean, when I think of committee, I think of the entire committee, not necessarily
Absolutely.
individuals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was
think
led by them and held by everybody.
I think for the individual achievement section in the summary, I think the purpose of that was to, show that we still actively, even with word of mouth, even in individual things that we do, not necessarily as an action that, we did as a committee together, something we talked about together. It's something that we did in our own shoes, in our own time. Not something that's, incorporated with the CSAC, but something we did, with ourselves, being like a sustainability nerd.
So the projects that you're working, that one is working on, now that has been run through the committee
Mayor
or
Kiesel?
not? Or is that an individual choice?
So every project, like what we do on Earth Day, the solar campaign, those are not individual things. Those are work done by a certain subcommittee and that we've actively talked about as an entire committee. I think the individual achievements don't include those committee-based projects or campaigns.
Mayor Kiesel, just as a point of clarification, I'll use Shelby as an example. She sought on her own outside of the committee to become a green business through San Mateo County. But once she became a green business, she brought all of that information back to the committee. She gave a presentation. We actually heard from the gentleman who does the San Mateo County green businesses because it's something we'd like to bring to the rest of businesses in Foster City. So oftentimes what our members do is they do a lot of research, a lot of work on the outside, and then they bring it back to the committee to talk about it. But so much of it is self-generated.
Now, that's
If I
before,
can-
but that's before it gets to the committee, they do the work, or?
Only on their own behalf, but then they come and give the results to the committee.
Mr. Mayor, if I could offer this, I think one of the things that we love about CSAC so much is the members of CSAC they walk the walk, and they are personally invested in these kinds of things, and you see it in the things that they do when they're not just on the committee doing those things. And I think that's what we have here is as individuals, each of them are prime examples of the principles and the values that they hold so dear that they bring to that committee. And you see a little bit of that in the write-ups. And I think that's part of the purpose here is to show the quality of each of those individuals, both current members and past members, that they really engage in this kind of stuff even outside of the committee.
Yeah, I'm just looking, I'm taking the term advisory committee, and that doesn't fit. Okay, my definitions. And okay, my second thing is because the advisory committee is at the pleasure of the council, there's a couple of things that I would like to see, okay? As we go into electric and getting rid of gas and fossil fuel, but electric cars, at some point when we're replacing water heaters, stoves, furnaces, we're going from gas to electric. At some point, we're going to reach a point where we're going to need to go from 100 amp service that feeds single families now to 200 amp. Okay, that's a very costly thing to do. What are the other cities doing anything to help lower that cost? Because yes, it's practical, I appreciate that, but the real concept here is we're going to electricity.
That's a really good question. I think that's one of the biggest challenges as a committee like this is really, the upfront cost of electrification or these things. It can be really scary sometimes, but I think as a CSAC, as an advisory committee, our job is to really research and work with these organizations like PG&E and Peninsula Clean Energy who have already established, and they're also working towards, creating those kind of solutions to, lower the upfront cost of that, have rebate. And I think we're still in the process of developing, like I said, meeting people where they are. And community-based social marketing also helps with that. So it's definitely still a process that we're doing. We know from other cities and other committees and, these other organizations. And it's definitely still a work in progress, but, we're still working towards that and trying to advise
It's just
people.
that I think it's going to be something that we're going to have to overcome in the
Absolutely.
short to near term.
Yes.
Mayor Kiesel, I wanted to add, Peninsula Clean Energy does provide incentives for panel upgrades. And so what we could add is trying to get the word out about more of those incentives.
Okay. So that, public comment?
We don't have any.
Okay, comments?
I just want to say thank you for the report. Amazing job. You are such an active committee, and I personally, I like actually seeing all of the individual contributions and all the things that you have done as individuals, because as things come up, if I'm talking to someone and say they had a question about a green business or becoming more green, I can go, oh, you know what? I can refer them to Hugh. So I actually did like that. And I am the liaison to Peninsula Clean Energy. They will be changing their name, by the way, so I had to, but I would love to see more collaboration and more there's so much symbiotic movement between the two of your groups, and I think that they offer so many important, things that I think a lot of people don't take advantage of.
They
So.
have given a presentation almost 2 years back, so
Right.
it's time to bring them back.
And well, they actually did give a presentation here a few weeks ago. It wasn't very well attended. I think we could have done a little bit more around that, but yeah, great work. So thank you.
Thank you.
And really quickly, can we get a bottle filler in here, water bottle filler station in here?
you.
And switch
Yeah,
maybe
we're
out our water
gonna
bottles?
look at that, and I've committed myself to bring my own water bottle from now on, so.
I forgot mine tonight, so I am grateful for the water bottles that are provided when I forget one, but I will do better, I promise.
Thank you.
So I'm always very impressed with all the work that the CSAC does, both as individual members and collectively as members. So I'm very grateful to you, to all of your membership, that you support our community so well.
Thank you.
Your introduction told everything to begin with, and you really, when you said it to begin with, lead by example. And what your whole emphasis to begin with was that's how we were going to make a change, by other people putting their solar on or doing something. And Art, to answer one of your questions, you had a real good question, and Councilman Stacy was trying to mention it. The Clean Energy has proposals to help you with your water heaters, with your heaters. Now, I would beg to differ that I don't think electric is going to be the whole thing. PG&E is backing off a little bit and is actually putting in gas lines. So I would be surprised that it will be a combination. I don't think everything will totally go electric, but that's just my opinion.
That's an opinion.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Phoebe?
I'm really proud, and I'm a little biased, obviously, because I'm your liaison, but I think something that comes to mind, a phrase, is like hustle and flow, right? This committee, each of you, like you said, walk the walk and talk the talk, but you also leave a lot of room for discussion, debate. I think sometimes conflict is almost viewed negatively, but in your committee, I noticed that people are welcome to disagree, to have a different opinion, and instead of shutting people down, you lift people
definitely still a work in progress, but, you know, we're still working towards that.
I will do better, I promise.
Appreciate the format of the report highlighting committee impact as well as individual impact, because then more of our community can see and relate to different members. Maybe there's some shade, the format of the report highlighting committee impact as well as individual impact, because then more of our community can see and relate to different members. Maybe there's something you're doing that someone can relate to, or what John's in the audience, right? To relate to. So kudos, thank you.
Thank you.
And my comment is that, because you have so many, well, first off, I appreciate your passion.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Look at the smile. It's okay. No, that's good that you got the passion. Maybe we need to think in terms of, because they have former members participating in this committee deliverables, if you will, maybe we need to perhaps expand it since the enthusiasm is there.
I just want a point of clarification. So the former members that are participating are doing so as members of the public. So they will attend on Zoom
they come
as a
on
member
the
of the
regular
public or come in person and provide
Are
public
they
comment.
not members because they termed out or because of what?
Yeah,
And-
because we shrink the size, that's why, and few left.
Yeah,
That's why
when
my
termed
suggestion
out
is
or
maybe
moved
we
out
should
of the
take
city.
a look at the size of the
Please
committee.
do,
Maybe
that will be awesome.
Please. More the merrier.
Just a
Yes.
thought.
The more the merrier.
I'm just opening it up as a thought, okay?
Thank you.
So I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to adopt the CSAC 2025 year-end report. Mission, we didn't cover mission statement today. That didn't change our goals for 2026. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Next item.
Item 8, Communications. 8.1, City District warrants of demands were processed and issued on January 5th, 2026, January 15th,